Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Hey,
Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
how you folks doing? Hey, this is so good. Hey, we got live music for you. Live singing and live music. What can I do for you? And you know what? I want to give a new perspective on life by looking at the holes in my hat. I love you. Okay, but folks, it's off night again. Once again, we're bringing off night to you. You know we're going to talk about the same things we talked about for the last 5 minutes, but it's going to be interesting perspectives. And Mark's doing this all on one breath. Imagine it, one breath. But please welcome for your entertainment and your host tonight, Mark Sweetman.
Hey, 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 we are back.
Nice bebopping, man.
I hope. Here we go. Here we go. We're coming.
You got the bebop down? Mark has frozen again. I think we were discussing
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen. Oh, there your picture's back. Picture's gone. You're okay. You're back again.
Good.
It's like we think.
This is not my home setup, so see how well that goes.
So, Mark, where are you now, Mark?
I'm in North Hollywood, California, at my son's apartment.
Got it. And, are you near the fires, Mark? Are you decided to talk us about the fires?
No, I can't talk about the fires, although it's in my wife's poem. She isn't with me, but she did send me a poem, so we'll be able to do the poem again this week.
Okay.
In fact, if you want, got any news for me? We can get right to the poem if you don't have any news.
Well, Omar is passed away. Williams, who played Omar on The Wire, passed away this week.
Yes, I did hear about that. Yes.
So,
friend of yours?
No, not a friend of mine, but I just thought it was like, I loved his performance in The Wire. I thought he's just a brilliant actor, did a great job with it. Excellent stuff.
Well, we had 4 comics. Did you hear about the 4 comics that got fentanyl-based cocaine out here in Venice?
Yeah, the fentanyl and cocaine, so...
I only know one of them. I only know one of them, and that's Kate Quigley, but it looks like she did not die. She hopefully will recover.
Yeah, but that's, you gotta admire the comics sometimes.
What, for being drug addicts? Some of the posts I saw on Facebook and Instagram were kind of weird because it was like, oh, thankfully we were drug addicts in the 80s, when it was a lot safer,
Yeah, exactly.
The street drugs weren't so poisoned. Oh, okay.
So poisoned or potent, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, we did, man. We used all natural stuff. There you go.
That's right. Well, that's like I tell my kids, use the dispensaries, then you got a chance, Anyway, so let's
but it can never be too soon to talk about this with comics, right?
That's absolutely. It's
not too soon with the comics.
It was at a party with a bunch of comics, so it had to be said.
There you go. It's wide open, man. Anything you can say.
Anyway, how do we usually do? Do we do the poem and then bring the other hosts on, or do we? That's how we usually do it.
Do the poem and bring the other host on.
And that's how it's going to do it. That's how we're going to do it again this week. So, all right, here. This is from Susan Sweetman, my bride, who's not with me. But through the miracle of modern technology, I have her poem. And just like every other poem, she wrote it 10 minutes ago after watching the 6:30 news. So here it is.
Yeah, I admire that.
Yep. COVID MU has now been found. Booster vaccine shots are sound. Hurricanes and flooding bad. People are dying. Really sad. Disastrous weather is extreme. Infrastructure needs a deep clean. Americans still fleeing Kabul. Taliban actions are not cool. Dixie fire blazing fast. California's burning. Will it last? The female uterus Texas rules. Rape extinct, says legislative fools. 20 years passed since 9/11. More folks identified. They're in heaven. Miami airport passenger strolls through TSA. Bikini-clad woman in a mask says, "Hey!" And it's from Susan Sweetman, our poetry. And I gotta get Kathy and Sam in on this because I got to tell them about what happened with this poem this week. Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
here are our favorite contributors from New York City, longtime comic, longtime radio man, and to add all on top of all of that, you think that was enough? A New York City waiter. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Greenfield, everybody. Here's Sam. Good to see
Hello,
you.
everybody. Always a
Hey.
pleasure.
And
No one
because
be
we always
jealous, but I'm getting a colonoscopy. So there you go.
oh, there we go. And we do now. We can be jealous. Well, it depends. I'll have to tell my colonoscopy story when I had the doctor that looked like Gwyneth Paltrow do it. A little bit different, than the Indian guy.
Good times.
Than the Indian guy that usually does it. Anyway, also now we like to add a little journalistic integrity. A truth teller, someone who doesn't take sides because she's a journalist. Also a gross pointer, formerly, and a new high-rise resident. How about a nice welcome back for Kathy Ryan, ladies and gentlemen? There she is.
Hi guys. Hello, boys.
Right. Hey, how you doing?
All right. Now the story that my wife, I didn't, of all these in my wife's poem, the one I didn't see was that the Miami airport passenger who went through TSA checkpoint in nothing but a bikini and a mask, which apparently is allowable.
Yeah.
I mean, her shoes were removed, and she was wearing a mask.
She had her mask, yeah.
Yeah, not much they could actually check her up for. So
Yeah.
I saw the picture. It's like she's barely wearing anything.
Oh, so you did hear about it? I didn't hear anything about this.
So she didn't conceal it. We know she didn't conceal anything.
No concealed weapon. Well,
nothing concealing. I can tell you that.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
And your cup size, miss?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Put a shirt on, sweetie.
yeah. Anyway, so I guess the big news is I guess we're finally taking global warming seriously now. Or at least
time.
I don't know if they want to call it. They probably don't want to call it global warming. They want to call it climate change. Or I guess if you want to appease the Republicans, you got to say we might lose our seaside land. Yeah, so that'll get their attention.
We might lose redwoods.
Might lose what? The
Redwoods.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Sequoias. 400 years to get here. 5 years to say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I got to see them before they burned down.
By the way, I mentioned the Trump thing. I get a contribution thing from Trump, and it says, "Please answer these questions honestly." I'll do as many as I can remember. Not a lot. Do you identify as an American or a...
Oh.
I think Trump got him.
I think Trump got him, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, there we go. This time he's doing his thing. I'm going to take him off the air. There we go.
Yeah.
I think, he mentions that American or Democrat. I think the Republicans have to do something about that. They have to stand up to that. That's bullshit.
They're not going to.
Why not?
Because the Democrats aren't making them. I'm getting burned out on Democrats, I'll tell you, that aren't standing up to those fuckers and say, you can't say that. We're all Americans. Stop with that crap. We're reclaiming our flag. We're reclaiming our title as Americans. This is just bullshit that we're sitting down and putting up with. That we're putting up with these Republicans. I'm here. I'm already ranting.
So
while you were away, we
terrible. Should Joe Biden be impeached immediately or soon?
Yeah.
So when I did my TikTok tonight, I do a TikTok. Trump had a 3-word message to the American people: fix 2020 now.
Yeah.
So my TikTok was, what I'd like to see fixed is to go back in time and fix Donald Trump before he got married, so I wouldn't have to hear Donald Trump Jr. ever again.
Exactly.
Ever.
That'd be nice.
But too many Democrats have not stood up and said the election of 2020 is done. Biden won. We're moving on. We're not going to put up with any more of this crap from Arizona. They're starting it now again in Michigan. No.
You know who doesn't put up with it is school administrators in Florida.
Exactly. Yep. And I just got a thing from Charlotte County, where we are down in Florida. They've canceled the 9/11 commemoration because of COVID. Now, you know that's not playing well with the Trump supporters down there, but they're not.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what the Democrats say. If the Democrats get up and say, this is all crap, Trump lost, they're still going to do what they're going to do. They're still going to do it.
Well,
I think we have to make a bigger commotion about it. Look at the commotion they're making. We have to make one even more powerful.
Well, I think with this Texas abortion ruling, I think you're going to see a sea change here. I think it's going to be. I don't think people were really paying that much attention to it, but I think they are now.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, though, now they signed that new voter law into effect today, which
you know what, as bad as that is, that can be overcome. You know what I mean?
True. It's going to take a lot of effort, but women really have to start standing up. Women made the difference in that last election. We've got to mobilize even stronger now.
And the other thing, is and women that want to side with the Republicans and be turncoats, they need to be called out. They need to be shamed.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, that has been the whole problem with the system, with this whole abortion thing, is that the left hasn't really focused on exactly what they want to have happen.
Exactly. We need to
you have a religious thing attached to the other side, and they're all saying, oh, this is life. The other side has got to really focus and find a good way to bring across their point. And they're split half the time.
Well, I think we have to shame every Republican woman that supports this by saying supporting that abortion law supports rape.
Yep.
You're condoning every rape that ever occurred, especially the raping of children and young women.
This is the thing that
that's the message that has to come out.
And I agree with you. This is the thing that people don't know about the Republican Party. I said there's a vast majority of people who are Republican and conservative who support abortion rights. It's just that the religious component of the Republicans are taking over the thing, and they're afraid to actually express themselves. But if you go into the West, you go into California, it'd be hard pressed to find some woman who is in favor of anti-abortion.
Well, the other thing you have to drive home is that you're not outlawing abortion. You're outlawing legal abortions. You're outlawing safe abortions. You're going right back to the back alley days.
Back alleys, that's right.
To the Dr. C.P.O. Murphys of Detroit. When I was in college, C.P.O. Murphy was the big abortionist, and that was back in the 60s. Everybody knew, or every young college woman knew where C.P.O. Murphy lived. And you went to his back room and had an abortion. I did not. I have full disclosure, but we're right back to that. And I knew women who did, many for whom went on to not be able to have children later on.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Once
That's why
the baby is born, they don't give a shit what happens.
Yeah, you want an 11-year-old child, that 11-year-old girl, to carry her uncle's baby? Oh, for crying out loud! What's wrong with these people?
Yeah,
they hate women.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they hate people. I mean,
no, they hate women. They truly hate women.
They do.
Ask any woman why this is happening. Any woman, and they'll because they hate women. They are the Taliban of abortion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just don't understand the women on their side. I just don't get it.
They're not.
Look at them. They are. I'm sitting here saying this, but they're all blonde and fluffy, and none of them have a brain
go to
between
your
them.
local pharmacy. Go to your local pharmacy and find out if they're out of idiot pills. Then those women live in your district.
Exactly.
Phyllis
frozen?
Schlafly, people like that. They're
Well, I got
raised in the Catholic Church. Three of the what is it? 3 or 4? All 3 of the Trump appointees are Catholic.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, here's
the
something.
Archbishop that put the Cardinal of, I can't remember, put out the editorial this weekend about Joe Biden being a bad Catholic. Oh, stop.
See, here's the problem that Mark touched on. The problem is that now no Democrat will tell that bishop, kiss my ass.
Exactly.
Why don't you worry more about the priest who are molesting kids?
Exactly.
How about that, you
Here's your
phony fat
statement on
bastard? And use that language. You phony fat son of a bitch.
Yeah,
that language.
Exactly.
Ask him how the prepubescent jizz tastes in his mouth.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's get down to it.
Just get down and dirty with him.
Exactly. Tastes like a vagina candle.
In fact, I'd like to invite all of these people to kill themselves. I mean, it's a vernacular that my kids use that I don't like, but for them,
I think the good thing that's happening, and I mean this, the good thing is that these people are these priests, not priests, but preachers who are saying that the COVID's a hoax and the masks they're dying.
They are.
And I say thin the herd.
Yeah.
Oh, and
you know what? I've said that from the beginning, from the time the COVID came out. I mean, not the COVID, the vaccines came out, and the right were against it. I'm thinking, fine, I'm all for that. I mean, everybody. Now, the bad part about that, I'm told, is that the bad part is that you get the variants. If we don't stop it by getting herd immunity and through the vaccines, we get these variants, and the variants could come back and affect people that even those that are vaccinated, and that's turned out to be true. So in that sense, I'm not happy about it. But in the other sense, I mean, it just, to me, they were saying that you hear all this, like the Chinese developed it as a weapon. I'm thinking, well, if they didn't, they will now, because they know that half of us are idiots,
Exactly.
It's really not half. It's less than you think, but it's enough of a significant number. It's enough of a significant number.
Yeah, I heard this from one of our school board members, the people that we elect, because I remember when city councils were nonpartisan. Just elected the 9 people or the 7 people, whatever, 5 people, whatever your city council is, and now that's become partisan.
I'll tell you what else is bad.
Now they want to make the school board.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
I said now they want to make the school boards partisan.
Yeah, the school board definitely.
And I was talking.
Here's what's happening.
Wait. Let me finish my point.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That's right. Now I was talking about my school board members, and they were saying, well, they got studies from people on their side. We're talking about mask people against the public that's fighting it, and they said we did surveys. Only 6% of your population is against masks. And you're giving them equal time at the board meetings. Stop it.
This is what pisses me off.
If it's only 6% of the people that are against masks, give them 1 voice in 20.
Exactly.
This is what's relating to what Kathy said. When you see these school boards, like in San Diego, where some asshole is saying something so ridiculous, somebody has to say, I'm sorry, but what you're saying is insane.
Exactly.
You're excused.
Exactly.
And if they don't want to leave, you have a guy the size of Wilt Chamberlain grab them and throw them out of the building.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what else. And no one's going to do this, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but everybody on planes who won't wear masks and have to be physically restrained, they are all Caucasian. There is not a black person, not a Asian, not a Latino, not a Saudi. And here's what Jim David, right? The comedian.
Yeah.
This is what he wants done. He wants them picked up and thrown out of the plane while it's in the air. Now I will give them now I'm different than Jim. I put this on an Instagram. I will give them a parachute, but I want them thrown off the plane. And after they're off the plane, I want to have a flight attendant look at the rest of the people, Who's next? Anybody? Anybody got a beef? Off the plane.
Yeah. You know, I flew back. I was on a plane a couple weeks ago, and the pilot came on as we were taxiing off, and he said, you know, welcome aboard, blah blah blah. Masks are required, and I'm telling you right now, we will turn this plane around if you want to take your mask.
I don't want the plane turned around. I want them beaten senseless. I'm serious.
Well, yeah, that too. But
no,
I mean,
I want them hit with a hammer and made to cry.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but put the person next to you. Do you want?
He's an asshole.
Yeah. Do you want him pissed off? Just keep your mask on. You know.
That's all.
Finally, yeah.
From Detroit to Los Angeles last week on my flight, we had not even close to being innocent. Everybody was compliant. Everybody said they were happy to wear a mask. It was
we had the same thing.
Many compliant customers.
I want the pilot to thank people when they land for doing that.
And our pilot did. Yeah.
Oh, good. My pilot might have. I was busy with other things.
The other thing they could do is pepper spray them and pull out all their teeth.
Sam, I can't even get a cup of coffee on a plane. You're asking
what?
All this.
The airlines could order planes that have like a brig in the back where you just slide them down a slide and they stay in the cargo hold until they land. You know, it might be a little cold and
next to a Doberman.
Yeah.
In fact, put the Doberman and the guy in the cage.
Yeah. Just change
and paint his body with steak grease.
Yeah. Well, now the thing is, the big thing, the mask issue is sort of dying down among school things. Now they're zeroing in on the critical race theory.
Oh, Christ.
And there's actually a group in Grosse Pointe, and I saw another one that's been formed in Clarkson public schools that have these demands that they do not want to talk. The Grosse Pointe group is asking for cameras to be installed in every classroom so teachers can be monitored about what they're doing.
I believe they refer to it as that black shit.
Yes.
Now, wait a minute. If the cameras are installed, I'll be watching every teacher, every grammatical error. I'm going to call them on.
Exactly.
Every math error, I'm going to call them on.
Did you see Billy misbehaving in the back of the room? Why didn't you do something?
about
that? I want to see the rate of teachers, people getting hired at that point.
Exactly.
Who's going to want to teach under those conditions?
Well, someone brought up an interesting fact too. What kid is going to want to get up and read in front of a camera, or recite the Spanish lesson in front of a camera?
Especially a seventh grade boy.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. This is going to be intimidating to the kids.
When I was in seventh grade, I was assigned by my teacher to go around to the other classrooms and read to the kids. So I was that kid who could do that.
Yeah, but I mean, some kids can.
And somebody said, why can you do that? I go, because I can read.
Yeah.
I said, I'm 12 years old. I can read. I've been able to read since I was 4. You don't know this about me, but I was in the newspaper because I could read when I was 5 years old. I could read Tom Sawyer with 93% comprehension.
That's
so I've been able. I'm a reader, so I've been able to read my entire life. So this one kid said, I lost this job kind of quickly because this one kid raised his hand and said, "I don't understand this." I said, "It's in English." you know that, right? It's in English. And so they said, "You can't be mean." I said, "He's an idiot." I was 12. He's stupid. I can't tolerate stupid. Tell him to tell his teacher, not another guy. And so there was a kid in my class. This is funny now. His name was Fenton Payne. And Fenton.
That's a great name. That is a great name.
And a wonderful guy. Fenton was a black kid, and he was a football player at 12. And he was a gifted football player and a nice guy. So he came to me one day, and he said, "I want you to help me with my English." And I didn't know him. And I said, "Why?" He said, "I don't read that well." And I said, "Okay, I'll help you." He was a nice guy. So I literally taught him how to read. I literally, that's what I did. I taught
Wow.
him how to read. I said, it's much easier than you think. And he got very choked up. He said, no one's ever helped. I said, it's easy. And he said,
Yeah.
well, you made it easy. So I was very happy about that. So one day, these three morons were going to beat me up for no other reason than I was little and they weren't. So I'm coming out of school, and I just figured I'm going to get an ass whipping, so I might as well just get it done. So I'm standing against the fence, and they're moving towards me, and like Superman, landing in front of me, Fenton arrived, stood in front of me, and yes, but 5'11", and said, hit me. And he was standing right in front of me. I thought he was talking to me, so I punched him. And he turns around and says, Sam, not you, them. I'm daring them. Sam, I'm daring them. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, damn, you can read, but you don't know shit about nothing else. So he turned back around. He said,
that's a great story.
Yeah, it is. And so he turns around. He goes, now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Hit me. You hit him. I'm going to hit you, and I will hurt you more than you'll hit him. Now, if I see you come near him again, I will whip your ass. You three got that? Yes, Fenton. I didn't hear you. Yes, Fenton. Now get out of here. And he looked around. He said, am I going to have to do this every day? I said, I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fenton went on to play professional football.
Oh, who did he play for?
He played for the Rams.
Awesome.
Wow.
And played 3 years, got his pension, became a preacher, but a good one. But a good one. Passed away about a year ago. Just that, well, you know, he was 72. Married for 50 years, 3 kids, 5 grandchildren. And I went to a picnic and that he invited me to when he was a grown man, when he was a preacher. And he told his grandkids, this is the man who taught your grandpa how to read.
Aw.
That's a great story.
And, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And I said, and I only hit him once. And he says, you remember that? I go, how could I forget? You're saving my life, and I punched you. He goes, he said, I got to be honest. I thought you had gone insane. I thought fear. He said, I thought fear made you crazy. What a great man. What a great man.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really something.
You're not at the
Really
U.S.
something.
Open tonight, Sam?
I beg your pardon?
You're not at the U.S. Open tonight?
No, no one would co-sign the ticket for me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we bought the ESPN Plus package because it was a throw-in with Disney Plus and Hulu.
Right.
And there's nothing but ESPN Plus is different than ESPN. ESPN Plus is like, all right, here's all the stuff on ESPN 1, ESPN 2, ESPN 3, ESPN Sports Channel, ESPN College, and then there's ESPN Plus. It's like a lot of features. But this week, they've got every match in the U.S. Open. So they've got a camera out. The best one was I was watching the junior boys doubles, and it was on this court at the U.S. Tennis Association that is right next to where the garbage is hauled out. And it was
nice.
And and only during the U.S. Open do they have 2 trucks every half hour two garbage trucks come by every half hour during the U.S. Open. But these kids are playing tennis while the garbage is going by. It goes, this is great because it's not in the big Arthur Ashe Stadium. This is in the. You always see that aerial where they've got about 4 dozen courts. Well, this is one of the ones that are in the outlying region.
Yeah. There's been some great tennis.
One year I played, I worked at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And the people who come there, they've all got money. I mean, it's, and I will never do that again. Yeah. Because, well, now I don't have to because I'm making a lot of money at MoMA. But I will never do that again because they never look at you. They walk up and they go, oh, let me have this. And then they turn around and you literally could give them the wrong change and they wouldn't know.
Who's like, they? You talking about the customers or the players?
The customer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The customer. So like a roast beef sandwich and a beer, is like $30. Okay. And they give you a 50. You could literally give them 5 ones back. And they go, thanks, and walk away. And they won't even check.
How do you know that, Sam?
I mean, I didn't do it. Because
Okay.
I did. Because I did.
Oh.
Because I did. And I'll tell you why I did it. I want to tell you why I did it. Because this one guy, he came up to my counter every day. Okay. First time, it was all right. Second time, he snapped his fingers when he wanted me. And I said, "Did you snap your fingers at me?" And he goes, "Did you turn around?" I said, "I didn't ask you what I did. Did you snap your fingers at me?" He said, "What do you care?" I said, "It's rude." He said, "Would you like to be fired?" I said, "I don't know. I'm up in the air on that." So the next day, he ordered a roast beef sandwich and a beer, and it was $30. And he gave me a 50, and I gave him 5 ones back, and he folded them. And he said, "Have you gotten over the finger snapping?" I said, "Just now." Just now. And so the guy said, "We received a complaint about you." And I said, "Tall guy, great wavy hair." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay. Well, you have to apologize to him." I said, "Oh, I quit."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, you can't quit now. We have one more day." I said, "All right, after tomorrow I quit, and I will never come back."
Another
And
good
so the
story.
guy came up the 4th day. And so the next day the guy came up and said, "I heard you refused to apologize." I said, "What, you're rude and I'm supposed to tell you I'm sorry you're rude?" I think you're a little sensitive. I said, "I think you're a self-indulgent, wealthy guy who thinks that everybody has to be nice to him. And I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just not." So next year, I saw him next year. I want to run to you.
Am I the only one getting bad sound?
And
I can't hear you, Sam.
I can hear. You can't hear me?
Now
I
we
got
do.
the mic on.
Now I can.
I can hear you now.
Okay. I just said I'm never coming back. There's not going to be a next year. He said, "Well, next year when you come back," the guy. I said, "There's not going to be a next year. You think I want to run to you?" "Oh, no. No. So, and everyone I know who's worked there said, "Why couldn't you put up with it?" I said, "It's good money. It's not I'm putting up with shit money."
Yeah.
It's not that money. You know, there are restaurants in New York, like La Bernadette, okay, where if 4 people sit down to eat, they're going to pay $1,500. Okay, not kind of tip, and no one does the tip, no one, because they won't be welcome back because the owner's a good guy, and but those people are great. Those people are just fine. They come in, they're rich, they order the food, they're nice to the servers. You don't get that there. You don't get that, and they won't be asked back if they do it. So it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Than what they have at the Open.
Yeah.
You know, the Open are people who know I'm going to see this guy again. So if I want to be an asshole, I'll be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So,
well, Mark, tell us what's going on in LA.
Well, here's my theory. Sports breeds competition. So anybody that goes to the sports, rich or poor, will treat you like shit no matter what.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because even sports viewing is a competition?
I will tell you my experience of driving cab in U of M games. Everybody is an asshole. Every person getting in is an asshole. Every person driving is an asshole. They are drunk. They are stupid. They are assholes.
It's fueled by alcohol, don't you think?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, probably, yeah.
But they're watching a game in competition, and it's like they just get like wound up. They're trying to top each other.
I know.
They're trying to make each other, you know.
Right.
You see these people just going nuts. You know, it's like you've done nothing.
I got a good.
Mark?
Am I frozen? Do you think I'm frozen?
No, you're
my
okay
wife.
now. No, you're fine.
My wife just sent me a message, says that the audio is poor, but it doesn't say anything about freezing.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're every once in a while you're intermittent. I have no trouble with Andy or Kathy. It's just Sam. But your stories have been coming out great. It's just
Mark, why don't you try? You can drop me out for a while, see if that'll improve. See if that'll improve Sam.
Well, I don't think. Well, we could see. Let me do that just for. We'll drop Andy for just a moment. Now, can you still hear us?
How's it now?
Andy, you can nod.
hear me?
I can see you if you can hear us.
I can hear Sam.
So I can hear Sam. I can hear Kathy, and Andy can hear us even though he's not on the screen. So give me the peace sign or something if you want to get back in. He took a bullet for the team. Attaboy.
Our hero.
He fell on his grenade.
There you go. Good. I got a good sports story though. That parade they had for the Taylor team.
Oh yeah.
Little League team. Our local Little League team won the Little League World Series last weekend, and they had a huge. The Tigers treated them as if they had won the pennant. I mean, they brought them down.
Nice?
They brought them down to Comerica, and especially Miguel Cabrera. We got a lot of rookies that do a lot for the players because they're rookies. They don't know any better. They don't know their super big deal yet. But Miguel Cabrera is an 18-year veteran who's a future Hall of Famer. And you should have seen, the pictures of all these kids around him. It was nice that the other players wanted to spend time with him, but when he spent time with them,
but it's Niggy.
I was crying. It was so great. I was crying.
Yeah.
These kids got to have Miguel Cabrera autograph stuff for them, and then he asked them to autograph stuff for him. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And then they had
that's a day they'll never ever forget.
And then they had a big parade for him, like the parade, and they did it all out. The high school marching bands were out. You would have thought it was the Thanksgiving Day parade. It was quite a scene. And people like mayors from other cities like Bay City and Jackson and, cities around, they sent contingents to honor the kids. It was quite an event.
Yeah. Who did they beat?
They beat the Ohio team, which is even better. Anytime a Michigan team beats the Ohio team, that's they beat the Ohio team, so that's a double win right there.
That's significantly better.
That's good for at least 2 months. That's good for 2 months until the Buckeyes beat the Wolverines again this year. So.
Yeah, exactly. There was a moment at the U.S. Open when the young player from Britain, Emma I can never pronounce her last name. First name is Emma. She's only 19.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, just finished high school and never really isn't caught up in the whole tennis thing. She's continuing in school and the whole thing. But and she won her match, and the interviewed her afterwards and said, "Did you know that Margaret Court was watching your match?" And the young player was like, "Oh my gosh." He said, "Do you have anything you'd like to say to Margaret Court?" And so composed, so poised. She said, "Well, I'd like to thank her for coming to watch me. I'm really honored that she would do that." And I thought, what a great response out of this, young woman thanking Margaret Court for coming to watch her. It was like, oh,
do you know about Margaret? Do you know about Margaret Court?
Oh yeah.
About her political views.
Well, yeah, it's not. But
she's a virulent homophobe. She is a virulent homophobe.
I understand that, and I
appreciate what the young lady said, because Margaret Court is legendary.
Exactly.
But it's like, but I would have been stunned if she had said, "Yeah, I'd like to tell her to lay off the Lesbos." But
exactly.
May I offer that all of Margaret Court's records were beaten by Billie Jean King? So there's justice.
Right? Yeah, but this is true. But it's just, I don't know. All right, fine. I'm done being touched. Goodbye.
No. That's a great honor for that kid. Look. People were, if Babe Ruth signed a kid's autograph, that kid was in heaven. He didn't know that Babe Ruth just came from a brothel. So
Exactly.
it's okay. It's okay.
Uh-oh. Now I'm worried about Miggy.
Mr. Ruth, you smell like a lady. What?
Yeah.
You know who tells
like
a great
lady parts? Yeah.
Why are you wearing perfume?
You know who tells a great story? Because it makes my swing better. Do you know who told a great story about Babe Ruth? Jimmy
Who's that?
Breslin. We talk
Oh,
about
I
a lot
bet.
of stories.
I bet.
When Jimmy Breslin was a kid, his father belonged to the Westchester Country Club, very exclusive club, and it was hot as hell one day. And Babe Ruth had just finished playing golf, and he comes into the 19th hole, to get a drink. And you remember those metal cans that you made milkshakes with?
Yeah.
You put it up against the milkshake maker. Okay.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth asked for a drink, and in the drink, probably the predecessor to the Long Island iced tea. It had 4 different white whiskeys, white booze, cherries, oranges, limeades, ice. You got that? The thing is filled to the brim. Jimmy Breslin said Babe Ruth took the can and just let it pour down his throat. No swallowing. He said everybody in there was staring like a Bengal tiger had walked in. They just were like, they could not believe. And then he finished it. He went, "Thanks, Barky. $10 bill down." This is 1932. A $10 bill down. Well, and played the rest of his. And it was. And Jimmy Breslin said, to this day, that was the most. I'm trying to remember what he said. That was the most overbearing drink I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
He drank like 22 ounces of booze, like it was a Diet Coke.
Well, and $10 is like $300 today,
Yeah.
Well, $10 was probably a fifth of his rent.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
we watched my boys.
I mean, come on.
My boys and I watched The Magnificent Seven a couple nights ago.
Oh my gosh, there's a
the original Yul Brynner and Charles Bronson and Steve McQueen and
Brad Dexter and James Coburn and Horace Buchholz and Robert
Eli
Vaughn.
Wallach. Yeah, Eli Wallach and
he was the bad
James
guy.
Coburn.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but the one of the things we noticed was they would never get away with that today. I mean, there was the accents weren't consistent. If they're going to do a bad Mexican accent, everybody has to do that same accent. But they allowed the actors to come with whatever accents they could come up with. But that's beside the point. It was that the offer to be in this group of men that was going to protect this town was $20 for 6 weeks.
Jeez.
That's right. And by the way, even then, that was bad money.
Yes, that was summer money.
That
was summer.
Yeah, that was bad money. That was terrible money even then. So, but that was a great movie. That was just.
That was a good movie.
I'm trying to remember. And one of the cute things was that Robert Vaughn played a very complex role. Robert Vaughn played a guy who was like a gun for hire, but had lost his nerve.
Yes.
He didn't want to shoot anybody anymore. It was very interesting. And
he dies because he kind of gets lost in his thoughts and doesn't realize he's placed himself wide out in the open. So he foolishly
he killed 3 guys. He killed 3 guys.
He kills 3 guys,
celebrating that, and
then he gets nailed.
But he's still standing outside.
Right.
And he falls against. I'll never forget this. He falls against the wall, and you see his lip.
In his lip. Yeah, his lip gets.
Yeah.
Now, what does the director mean by that? What is that message? What did the director mean by that?
Don't go outside. Don't go outside is the whole message. But my favorite character was James Coburn because he shoots a guy from like 300 feet away.
Yes.
Horace Buchholz, who's like innocent in this, goes, "That was the greatest shot I ever saw." And Coburn goes, "It was the worst." I was aiming for the horse.
I was aiming for the horse. Yeah, yeah. Well, Colburn had more kills than anybody in that film for that team.
Well, he shot a guy. A guy had a gun, and he beat him with a knife.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was before they got to the town. That was in his own hometown that he did that. That was when they were still collecting.
Yeah. And the guy he shot, I don't know this actor's name, but the guy he shot was one of the 3 bad guys in High Noon.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the guy who Grace Kelly killed.
Oh. Anyway.
You know who hated High Noon?
Who?
John Wayne.
John
Wayne hated the movie High Noon.
Why?
No. He hated the idea. He hated the idea that a sheriff would turn his back on his town like that. And someone had explained to John Wayne that the town turned its back on him. He didn't seem to grasp that. Lloyd Bridges was that movie. I think Gary Cooper won 2 Oscars. He won for Sweetman, and I knew. Yeah. That's what. Did you ever see Gary Cooper's testimony before Congress?
Gary Cooper's testimony before Congress
during the McCarthy era?
For the McCarthy, yeah.
They had all these moves to right wingers. He goes like this. I don't know much about communism. This is almost verbatim. I don't know much about communism, and I never read Karl Marx, and I really don't know much about it. But from what I hear, it ain't no good because it ain't the level. And they wrote that into the record. This great actor, but otherwise just a complete stooge. Robert Taylor testified. Adolph Monju testified. All these people. Just talking about they hate communism. And if you ask, Kathy was talking earlier about saying, you people are shit. If you would ask any one of those actors, well, what is it about communism you hate? They didn't have a clue.
Nope.
They didn't have a clue.
No.
I'm becoming fascinated with Roy Cohn. There's a documentary about him called "Where's My Roy Cohn," and he defended Donald Trump. Trump, when he built the Trump Tower, they used concrete instead of steel because concrete was the construction piece that mobsters had. They controlled the concrete industry. That's why he used concrete. They brought in these Polish workers from Poland and never paid them. Trump never paid them. And that was Roy Cohn's mentor.
Mm-hmm.
That was his guy.
I liked Mark Milley's General Mark Milley's take on Marxism. Did you see his testimony?
Well, no. What do you say?
What's his name? The dickhead from Florida, Matt Gaetz. Was grilling him on them in the academies, them teaching about Karl Marx. He goes, well, yeah, why wouldn't we? If Marxism was the enemy, why wouldn't we read it? Why wouldn't we learn about? Why wouldn't we learn
that guy? When I first heard Mark Gaetz talk, I was with a friend of mine. We were watching MSNBC, and we didn't know about him what we know now, right? And I was listening to him talk, and I said, I will bet you anything you want to bet. I'll bet you anything that idiot is from the Panhandle of Florida. And that's where he's from.
Yep.
I knew he was from Florida. And I said, that guy is not representing anybody in Miami. He's not representing anybody in any other part of Tampa. And I'm not talking about that these are like liberal enclaves. He is from the Panhandle.
He doesn't rip anybody with opposable thumbs.
Based on his age and my visits to the Panhandle, I'd say, and I think I'd be pretty safe in this, he was probably conceived at a nightclub in Fort Walton Beach. I'm just
He was actually conceived in a meat cooler next to the Costoga wagon display. That's where he was. Yeah.
Got it.
There you go.
Yeah. Speaking as someone who sang in a band and actually had, how do I put this? Had forays in a meat cooler with some of the fine waitresses of that era. I'm telling you. Yeah, he was next. Yeah, when he walked out of the cooler, he smelled of woman and cilantro. That's what he smelled of.
Hey, speaking of golf, speaking of representing in Gulf states, how's Asa Hutchinson doing? Anybody heard anything on him? Because he was starting to pull towards the governor of
Arkansas.
The governor of Arkansas. He was starting to pull towards vaccines.
Yeah, after he negated them. After he negated them, he said, "Oh, I know,
but he was going the other way. I just wondered if he.
But
if he had
the
any
law was already
backlash from
passed. The law was already. It doesn't matter how he feels now. He
That's
feels
right.
bad now. He okayed it.
Yeah.
You know, he's got buyer's remorse. Screw you. You know, no, negate the damn law. Say I made a mistake. Vote over. But if he can't do that, then shut up. I feel bad now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. Sorry. He feels bad now. Screw him. No.
Yeah.
And by the way,
And how is
that state has been 49th in education. But no, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to bring up another topic. I was going to bring up another topic. How are the South Dakota National Guard that are down protecting our border? How's that been going? Anybody heard anything on that?
Who's paying them?
I presume it's the funds that it's the funds that normally protecting South Dakota, but South Dakota feels that they're protecting the South Dakotans more by protecting the Texas border with Mexico.
What are they protecting South Dakota from? What possible threat is there to South Dakota? Somebody's going to piss on Lincoln's face? What could there be?
Protect them
There
from
should
North
be one
Dakota.
There should be.
North Dakota.
Bill Maher is right. There should be one Dakota.
But,
now wait a minute.
The crazy governor there, the woman, isn't it the woman? What's her name?
Yeah.
I thought she was using private funds to pay the National Guard salary. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
She got somebody to pay it privately,
Yeah.
and they
fired
the guy too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And it's craziness.
Well,
I mean,
you heard about the Viking, right? That went into the White House and went into the Capitol, dressed like a Viking.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Or the fur hat with the Viking horns.
Oh yes, yeah.
They call him the QAnon shaman.
Yeah.
But he can display it during lunchtime at Rikers. Just something I threw together. No, he'll serve it in D.C. Yeah, he'll serve it in D.C.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope he's not dressed like that when he walks in. I really do.
I have.
It won't be good for him.
His attorney cleaned up his act quickly.
That's what attorneys do.
But his attorney said to him, "If you walk in here and act weird, when you turn around, you won't see me."
Yeah.
That's what you tell him. And I'm keeping the money, but you will not see me.
Yeah.
You hear that all. That's that's what happens every time you hear about an attorney dropping out of a case. They just can't defend the claim.
Well, either that or not getting paid.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Like Giuliani is almost virtually broke.
Good.
And
isn't he selling handshakes or something? Isn't he selling handshakes?
Is he selling what?
Yeah.
Handshakes or something? He's selling
handshakes.
Could anything be sadder than that? Well, hand job would be sadder.
I think I said handshake. I get it.
There you go.
I get it. Yeah.
He's selling happy endings.
There you go.
Oh, is that what he's selling? Yeah. Oh, and those crazy attorneys.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Coates or Sydney. What was her name? Yeah.
Oh, Sydney. Yeah. What's her name? Yeah. Oh,
Paul.
I tell you what, the Michigan Attorney General is really going after her.
The woman,
Good. Finally, this is what
the
you know.
woman,
stand up to
who
these
said,
people.
"Why does anybody believe me?"
Yeah, yeah. Why would you believe me?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Sidney
Yeah.
Powell is her name.
Yep.
Why would anybody believe? Yeah, why would you believe that? It's so
Yeah.
absurd.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, she's going to be broke. She's going to be broken also.
Well, she's going to lose her law license. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
Not soon enough.
Oh, well. I got some good news
When
today.
I found out you didn't have to go to law school, please.
Isn't that good news?
No, the good news is there's a rich Democrat in Ann Arbor that wants to use my city because it's an off-year election, and we're not electing a mayor. We don't have any ballot proposition. There's no statewide elections. It's simply we're electing 4 city councilmen to the city council, and he wants to pay canvassers as a test market. So I might be getting paid for the.
Nice.
Wow.
I might be getting paid for the door knocking that I normally do for free. So
Nice.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So I got that
very
news today.
nice.
Yeah.
So it'll probably end up being George Soros, and I'll be blamed for something.
Yeah.
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 You know, the Republican Party is the only party that could think they're insulting you by calling you a Jew lover.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Jews. What are they talking about? I love Jews.
Well, you know what's funny to me is Sue Kalinsky has this great joke. She said, and this is true. Sue Kalinsky.
She has a lot of great jokes.
No, I know. But
hilarious.
This joke is my favorite at first. Sue Kalinsky and I worked in Alabama together for 2 weeks. We worked in Huntsville and we worked in Birmingham. And when we were in Huntsville, the guy who was promoting the show, he wasn't the manager, but he got paid a little. A friend named Rod. And Rod looked like every guy from Alabama who would scare the shit out of you. He was 6'2". He was solid muscle, not muscular, but solid muscle. He wore these thick, like real glasses kind of thing. And Sue and I are like having lunch. You know, I made her lunch at the condo, and Rod comes in, and he sits down at the TV and changes the channel. And I said, Rod, this is like our apartment for the week. He goes, you want to throw me out? So I called the guy and I said, Rod just came over here, is sitting in a chair. He changed the channel on the TV. And when I asked to leave, he said, do you want to throw me out? If you don't bring him, if I see him again, we're not performing. We're leaving. And in 5 minutes, Rod was out of there and we didn't see him for the rest of the week.
That's good.
5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I said to the guy, I said, what made this moron think that he could do this? And he goes, he's nuts. I said, so you knew he was here, that you knew a crazy person was here. And he goes, I can't control him. I said, you controlled him enough to get him out of here. You controlled him enough that we never saw him again. He said, well, he works for me at a tire store and I threatened to fire him. I said, So when he's not changing hubcaps, he's terrifying Jews. He goes,
Wow.
yeah, I guess. And I looked at Sue, and that night Sue said, well, Sam and I, you like it here in Alabama. Of course, down here, Jew is a verb. and I said to her, you have balls of steel. I would have never told that joke here. I would have never. She said, why not? I said, because you know that at least half the audience is going, yes, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that funny? Yeah. Where's the punchline?
Was that Huntsville? Was that Huntsville Room the old? Was that Huntsville Room the old movie theater that they converted into? Was that Huntsville Room the one that was the old movie theater that they converted into a club?
The only thing I remember was it was me, her, and a Latino comic whose name I will never remember. He was old then. He was balding then. Ramon something.
He was old and balding during the boom.
Yeah.
Navy. I used to tell this joke among comics. I said, the other day, my daughter, she's only 4 years old. She said, "Daddy, tell me about the boom." And I said, "Well, honey, many years ago, comedians who sucked made a decent living because there were 3,000 comedy clubs." And he said, and you never knew if you were going to be at one of those clubs where a sucky comic was working with you. You never knew. But there was a good chance. Well, did it bother you? I said, no, I was getting paid well, and I figured I only have to, the only bad part was being in a condo with a sucky comic. Because it sucked at being a comic. I think good comics are very smart people. They're very smart. Because it takes a certain level of intelligence to craft a successful act.
That's true.
I said, I ran into people who would say things like, literally, this is a question. Why is Aretha Franklin allowed to sing the Star Spangled Banner? Why she screws it up?
When did she ever screw it up?
This is the same guy who brought friends over. Oh, please, are you kidding me? Guy should be beaten to death. So he brought some friends over, and they were going to do cocaine. And I said, listen, guys, if you do coke, you're going to be up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I have a 7 a.m. radio show to do. So I'm telling you to leave. So they said, you're telling us to leave? I said, well, number one, you're not comedians. You're friends of a comic. Number two, it's an illegal substance. And they went, oh, it's an illegal. So I looked at him. I said, come here for a minute. I want to talk to you. I said, they're leaving now. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. They're leaving right now. Because if they're not leaving right now, I got to talk to the guy who owned the club and tell him, you brought some friends over here to do blow, and it screwed up my entire morning AM show, which promotes the club. So do what you're going to do. You got 10 minutes to get them out of here. 10. And all of them going, fuck you, man. You suck. Fuck you. I said, why can't we come to your house? Well, because my mom said, you live with your mother. That's so precious. How old are you? 12? You live with your mommy. Ooh. And when they left, he said, they wanted to beat the shit out of you. I said, yeah, but see, then they'd be in jail. Then I would send them to jail and cocaine possession and assault and battery. Please bring.
Oh, we just lost Sam.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hate to keep jumping off the screen, but we've got a great storm going on outside, and the sheriff's Marine Patrol is out there on a bullhorn. And I'm trying
I tell you what, Kathy, the lightning show behind you is great. I've been watching.
There's something going on. There's an incident out there.
Oh, we can't hear the bullhorn, but we can see that lightning.
Sorry, I keep running to the window.
But aren't you feeling better that you're not on a ground floor waiting for the flood to come?
Oh, yes. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
Speaking of flooding, Sam, how is the flooding going in New York?
New York here, I was on the F train. Get this. In the middle of the tunnel. You got that, Kath? In the middle of the subway conductor. Now we're the G line. What? The G only goes to Brooklyn and Queens, and I am a Manhattanite. So when it came to the next stop, I got out. I took another train. I just went to the middle of town, and that was it.
Well, I saw these videos of these trains going through water, and I thought they run on electricity.
In the subways was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Sam, I saw these trains going through water on the video, and I thought that the subways ran in electricity.
Have you ever heard Yoko Ono sing?
Yes, I have.
No,
I have. Yes.
Can't hear me? All right.
We can hear you. Yeah, we've heard her.
I'm going to take Andy out again. Andy, you're going out.
I'm dying again.
What do you do to deserve that?
What, the Yoko Ono?
Oh, no.
All right, Sam's gone. I'm bringing Andy back. So now,
I
never
had jokes. I had a joke.
Oh no, sing.
Oh,
And then
did
about
you?
a month ago,
Bandito Yoder. I had a Bandito Yoder.
there he is.
I never heard a thing. And then one day a friend said, "You've never heard." And I said, "No." He sent me a video of her singing Big Shot by Billy Joel. And the closest I can come to describing is cackling in an E flat. She literally, it's like, that's it. That's it. And I thought, how does she get away with it? I mean, he's been dead for 40 years. How did she get away with this? And he said his very simple answer. He said, she's rich.
Yeah.
You know, she rents out a studio. She hires some musicians. People come to see her because she's John Lennon's wife. And I said, he's been almost 41 years. I mean, I miss him, and I hope that Mark David Chapman dies in prison. But what are you talking about? She's horrible. It's not like Linda Eastman, you know, McCartney's widow.
Yeah.
You know.
Nope, lost Sam again. All right. And I think he's back.
There he is.
There he is. I wonder how that happens. I think he's got a bad connection. I think Sam's got the bad connection because I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
I can't hear Sam.
I'm going to listen. I love you all, but I think this place would be better served if I bolted, because I'm the one guy who's having the most connectivity problems.
Yes, you are.
And by the way, I'm 3 feet from my router, so it can't be that. But I'm going to go. Everybody have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks.
Take care, guys. Be well.
Thank you. Yep. Be well. Hey, good luck with that. When's your colonoscopy?
The pre-op is tomorrow. It's going to be next week. So I'm taking that stuff called shits away.
You're taking the name brand stuff, right? You're not taking the Kirkland.
The store brand.
You're not taking the Kirkland plots away, are you?
I'm taking. I think you know what it's called. Bob's Crack at You is what it's called.
Don't buy it at the dollar store, Sam.
Don't do the dollar store shits away.
No.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if the dollar store sold a diuretic? Oh my God! It would be a plunger. It would be a plunger and a knife. Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Guys, take care. Be well.
Take care, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
See you, Sam.
All right. Now we can discuss.
Yeah, now let's talk about Sam.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. There's always a problem, that guy.
He's got great stories, though. That's what I like. That's what I like about him.
Oh yeah, tons of good stories. I mean, the guy's like a walking encyclopedia of comics.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, he's 73 and he's had a lot of jobs. You know, so he's done a lot of things. So he's got a full life and takes his stories with him. You know, he had a life before comedy. He wasn't starting in his 20s like the rest of us. He was starting in his 30s. So he had half a full life before he even started doing comedy.
Got it. Wow.
Andy, did you go to South Bend this week?
No, not this week.
No, not this week.
I lucked out this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was she finally called. She finally told us she got the title. So
excellent.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
I'm trying to buy a car online and out of state.
What are you using to buy your car? What is there a service or anything or?
Well, you just go through Carfax and they have different dealers that have something listed. I'm looking for a Beetle convertible to replace my 2013, and they don't make them anymore, so you have to get a pre-owned one. And it's just I just want a new car. But
my brother out here works at a Ford dealership, and I always tell him when I need a new car, I'll call him and fly out here and then drive it home. But we're not ready for a new car yet.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I found one down in Virginia, and I could pay $700 to have it shipped up here.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's my and I had kind of sold my old one, and I had to tell them that I can't sell it until I get a new one. And stress. This is white people stress.
Yes. First world problems.
First world problems. There you go.
Well, you know.
So what do you know about this COVID MU? What's that about?
That's the new
variant
strain.
So we got Delta, we got Lambda, and we got MU. What does MU stand
Sounds
for?
Like anything? A fraternity. Is that a sorority?
Sigma is next. Lambda, Sigma, Mu. Yeah.
Oh, it's Mu. Oh, so it's the Greek letter mu.
Yeah, MU. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. They're using the Greek alphabet. So hurricanes and the viruses are using Greek alphabet now.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Although it doesn't look like we're going to have so many hurricanes that will make it to the Greek alphabet. They're just more deadly this year.
Oh God, yeah.
Tons. Yeah, I was surprised to see that Queens went under water and was flooded out.
Well, the thing I wanted to ask Sam, but he was breaking up, is I saw these videos of the subways in New York, and the trains are going through water.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Water in the gully where they keep the train. But I always thought those ran on electricity.
Yeah, there was a hot rail that you could get zapped with.
Yeah, the third rail.
I was thinking because every time, you're not supposed to touch that rail if
Yeah, if
and
it's
so
in the water, the water then becomes electrified. Yeah,
I thought the water would either be electrified or it would just cancel out the electric current for the.
Yeah, you would think.
Who knows?
Yeah. It's the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everywhere I've been, when I was all summer in Detroit, no problems. I get to LA, all the problems out here gone. I'm just a good luck charm. That's all there is to it. The world needs me to come.
Well, that's right. You leave, we get a rainstorm. Lots of water coming down. There you go.
Yep. And everything's been fine in Los Angeles while I've been here. No fires, no earthquakes, no mudslides. And it's September too. It's mudslide season here. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I remember when I lived out here, September was a horrible time of year as far as natural disasters and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
if a fire can be considered a natural disaster, considering they're usually started by careless campers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
aren't they having a drought out there? Wouldn't that affect
Yeah, they are. It's so funny too because I was at a restaurant today and I went to wash my hands and I turned the water on and it's just gushing out of the faucet. I mean, everywhere I go, I take a shower at my kid's house, it's barely dripping out. I go to a drinking fountain. I got to put my mouth practically on the spout, to use it to drink water. And then I go to use a toilet and I wash my hands. It's just spraying out like it's a fire hose or something. So it's not very well regulated there.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about LA, since I was here, I think last time 3 years ago. And my wife's been out here since, but when I was here 3 years ago, and now the traffic now is awesome. I mean, it's compared to what Los Angeles traffic is usually like.
You mean less traffic?
Yeah, less traffic, more people working from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My one son, I have two boys. I'm in their apartment. They both live here and work here, and they're roommates until my lips to God's ears. One of them gets married, but until then, they're rooming. And one takes a train. The subway is 2 blocks from his house, and then the other stop lets off in the building he works in. So all he does is take the escalator up, and he's in it's a combination metro stop and an office lobby. And my other son works from home, and so there's 2 more cars off the road.
Yeah.
So as you get more and more of that, so I think COVID had a lot to do with having people work from home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
and
the thing about that too is you would be surprised they don't have a printer. And I'm thinking of all the things that I use a printer for. We had to go. I was helping my son transfer, combine two IRAs, so he had to do a transfer of assets for him. And so he does it online, and he goes, "It says to print it. I can't print it." I go, "We don't have a printer," so we had to go find a printer. And he goes, "Nah, no one has a printer here. You don't need a printer. Everything's electronic now." So
Yeah.
they say that until you try and get tickets. You're at the ticket counter, the ticket thing, to try and get your tickets off your phone, and you can't get them because the stupid. I had a problem getting into a Chicago White Sox thing. I'm there 20 minutes just trying to get my tickets on the phone.
I had no problem with my Tiger tickets this summer. I had no problem with my airline tickets this summer. We had no problem with our Disney tickets. So I took the girls to Disneyland last week.
But you probably remember the code. You remember your code, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
See, that's the problem. I don't remember my code. I have 1,000 codes I got to remember, and I can't remember. I try to keep the same code, but they wouldn't take the code. So it's like I'm irritated. I'm irritated as all hell. I want printouts. Just give me a printout, for God's sakes, you know?
Well, welcome to Over 60, Andy. Welcome to Over 60.
Yeah,
You'll be getting more and more frustrated as you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it, man. I try and use their highfalutin computer stuff, and I do sometimes make it. But
highfalutin.
There we go. I'm just printing out tickets, man. That's all I'm saying. I didn't have to sit there and wait for 25 minutes for my phone to work, you know? I'm sticking with paper, man. That's what I'm sticking with.
I can't believe how much better this sounds without Sam.
Yeah, I don't know why he has so much problems with his audio all the time. That seems to be
I don't think it's all the time. I think it's more.
Well, not all the time, but
more tonight than others. Yeah, but he's the weak pin.
The weakest
I'm going to say he has an ancient computer.
Well, he uses his phone.
He uses his phone.
Yeah.
He uses his phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and my phone is my most advanced piece of technology is my phone, but I don't use it. I use my laptop. So.
Well, I'm doing the same. I'm using my phone also, so I usually don't fall out. My phone has been like I bought it last year, so I guess it's updated. But
yeah.
So mine's 2 years old, so you got newer technology than I do.
That's right. That's right, man. I got more technology than you do, man. All right.
Well, I'm using my laptop.
Who's the lot right now? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm using my desktop.
Mr. Ticketless, who's the lot right now?
No, come on. I just have issues sometimes.
I gotta check this one more time.
All right. Well, Kathy's got to check out what's going out in the. What is that? You got like a harbor down there or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have
that's right. You're looking out to sea out there. That's right.
Yeah, she's looking at the St. Clair Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sea of St. Clair.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you a thing that drove me crazy. It was these companies that don't have phones anymore. I mean, a prime example is Lyft. I was going to try and drive Lyft up until I go off to do Santa Claus.
Okay.
And for like a week and a half, I've been trying to get a hold of them to find out if I can rent a vehicle. And there was no way to contact anybody. Nobody would return my call. They kept saying that they didn't have any cars. So I finally had a friend take me down there. I didn't have a car, so we drove down today. And in less than 5 minutes...
Is that the place on 2nd Avenue in Detroit, that one?
Exactly.
Right.
So in less than 5 minutes, I walk in and I said, "You guys renting cars?" They say, "No, we're ending the program." So I gotta own a car in order to be able to run or use a Lyft or be able to drive a Lyft. I said, "Yeah." Okay. 5 minutes. So it took me a week of trying to get a car. All I needed was 5 minutes on a phone, and I wouldn't have had to waste that time.
Yeah. And $20 in gas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How'd you like their offices? I've been in there before.
Oh, they're the offices are fine. I mean, I was running vehicles from them before, and up until the. I mean, I'm grateful that I drove for them before the pandemic because that got me my unemployment.
Right.
But as a company, they are really lacking. But they're better off. They're better than Uber. So
Uber. Well, have you driven for the Uber?
yeah, I drove for Uber for just a little bit, and the way they treat the drivers and how they treat people is really awful. So
Yeah.
they'll sometimes take your tips. They'll sometimes not let you know.
Oh wow.
And it's just a imagine the Sopranos running a cab company.
Yeah.
Well, they're just using drivers until they get the automated cars. So.
Oh yeah. Once the automated car, and I guess in 24, that's going to happen with Lyft and Uber.
In 24.
Yeah, 24. They say by 2024 they'll have.
Well, it can't be all cities.
Cars.
We have to have the infrastructure for that, and we'll see if we get.
I was going to say, yeah, that's
3 years.
Where are we going to plug in all these cars?
Well, actually, if it's just downtown, that's where they're going to start with just downtown. Repeated runs. Case in point, Ann Arbor, from the central campus to upper campus. Uh-huh. That is where you'll get your first unmanned vehicles going.
Yeah,
that's what they'll do. And then it'll be in town like that.
About 5 years ago, I was at the auto show, and there was a demonstration by, I think it was Ford, about their autonomous car. And one of the things they were talking about was you might find, or maybe it was one of the engineers or something like that, and maybe he wasn't with Ford, but there was a bunch of people around talking about this. And it wasn't an official discussion. It was just guys, guy talk. Arr, 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 arr. And somebody was saying, if these cars all become autonomous, what you're going to find is probably the streets will not be repaired by the city or county, because the incentive will not be to the taxpayers who are getting their cars destroyed by potholes. The incentives will come from the auto companies who will be selling these rides, and they'll want to keep their cars in running order. Mm-hmm. And so this one guy had this demonstration. It was all animated, but it looked pretty cool. It was an autonomous pothole repair box. And it drove on four wheels. It didn't have to be stylish, so it was just a box.
Yeah.
So it went out. It showed that it came across this pothole that was already reported by its. He said they would be reported by the cars. So the Uber and the Googles and the Lyft cars that go by would report this pothole. All the other cars that are autonomous would know that it's in that lane. And so what would happen is, as it's coming up to it, it'll all be reported, all be GPS signaled. As it come out, he showed this thing, and the box starts dropping cones off the back bumper as it comes up to this thing. And the first cone is close to the curb, then one in the third of the way through the lane, another one halfway through the lane. And it does basically, it's cordoning off this lane so this machine could stop. Once it gets to the pothole, it's right over it. And so then he showed this drill in this vacuum would basically go down and chip away at everything that's loose. Wouldn't hit it hard, just the stuff that's loose. The vacuum would suck it up, and then it would put in like a temporary emollient that would fill up the hole. Now, somebody would have to come up and permanently replace it at some point, but this would just be a long enough repair so that the cars could go over it without screwing up their wheels and
losing a tire,
and things like that. And then what would happen is the truck would back up and pick up these cones that had dropped off. Yeah. They had flashing lights on them, so they had cordoned off the lane. And then it would just take off until it went to its next assignment for filling up these holes. And I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he said the cities may still be in charge of he wouldn't sell these to the cities. He was going to sell them to the auto companies who would have more, the Ubers and the Lyfts, who would have more incentive to keep their cars, their automated cars, running rather than the the city, because most of the city taxpayers aren't going to be using those roads. It's just the ones that use them for transportation.
Yeah.
So the car companies have more incentive to keep their cars running.
Well, and you have to remember too that so much of road repair money comes from the gas tax.
Right. Right. And these self-running cars will be electric.
Yeah, exactly.
So what gas tax are you going to have?
They're not contributing anything to the roads. Yeah.
Yeah. So they may actually create a tax just based on like each year they'll put a tax onto each one of these machines.
Yeah.
So it won't be based on your fuel, but just based on the fact that you have the machines, much like a property tax.
Yeah. Well, I know, we're down to one car with the COVID, and my wife telecommuting, so we don't really need that extra. So we're not paying as much gas tax.
Yeah.
We've only got one car. We're not paying as much license fee, and we're not paying the annual license fee either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, until we have to get, two people working all the time.
Yeah.
And if I'm working nights. She's working days. So even if we did have to.
Yeah.
And we lived in California. We had one car. We're kind of doing the same thing we did then.
Yeah.
The kids don't like it, but that makes them get their own car.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There you go.
Not be riding in our car anymore. Yes. Not returning the car without gas. Excellent.
Yes. Excellent. Very good ideas. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Let them pay for their own way. Yeah.
Yes. Well, the incentive to learn how to drive is also going to will diminish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they already don't want to drive anyway. So.
I don't think the car prices are going to come down. So
no, they're way up there now.
If you think about how much rides you get out of a $30,000 car and a $1,500 a year insurance and all the $4 a gallon gas and $3 in Michigan and then you consider if you don't use it that much and it only costs you $12 for that ride, if you're only doing it, a few times a year or something.
Yeah.
My son's got a hybrid. He's got a Prius and he's got a 2012. And of course that 2012, his battery's starting to wear down. You know how batteries are.
Yeah.
They're not going to hold the same charge all the time. So he's thinking of getting a new one just to get the higher battery capacity. But the car runs great. It's still running fine, and it's still in decent shape, and it does what it needs.
Where does he plug it in?
He's got his landlord made a deal with him. Did your landlord increase your rent, Gabe? Or how'd you get that?
I paid $15 a month.
He pays fixed.
Originally, now it's $8 because of my reduced driving.
Oh, okay. He pays his landlord $8 extra bucks. Or do you pay your landlord or the electric company?
Pay my landlord.
He pays his landlord $8 a month to have a plug in his garage.
Wow.
His landlord, they've got 7 units. How many? 7 units here?
Yep.
They got 7 units and I think 12 or 13 parking spaces. And they use 2 of them. And Michael doesn't have a car. He's the one that takes the train to work.
Yeah.
And I've been using it this week. So
yeah. Wow. Well, I'm going to take the train out of here.
All right. Well, another 90. Spend another 90 minutes on the off night for comedians in the area and beyond. And it's been good talking to you. And we'll see everybody next Monday night. No outro music because I don't have anything with me.
No problem.
I had to hum the intro music. So
there you go.
It was very nice humming, though. You did a good job with that. So
we'll see everybody next Monday night. Next Monday night is the 13th, I think, and so we'll see you then.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that is my lucky number. There we go.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. We're out of here now. Yep.
Good night.